Good morning. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is July the 12th of 2023. The time is 8:38. The panel members today are Ms. Bonnie Jackson, Ms. Pearl Wise. My name is Tony Marabella, and I'll be acting as chair. Support staff located here at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge are
Diane Holbert, Sherelle Daywright, Carla Williams.
Thank you. Our remote location this morning is Madison Parish facility with the staff at Madison. Please introduce themselves.
My name is Lieutenant Alfreda Jones.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Our first case this morning is going to be Mr. Samad Roberts. Mr. Roberts, would you please give us your full name and DOC number?
Yes, sir. My name is Samad Alexander Roberts. My DOC number is 774552.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Roberts, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record, and then the board is going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we will allow the participants who've indicated they wish to speak to have their input. Speaking on your behalf today is your mother, Miss Andrea Roberts, and a potential employer, Letitia Polar. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes, and then the board will vote. Do you understand our process?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the matter of Samad Roberts, DOC number 774552. Mr. Roberts' date of birth is September the 21st of 2002. He's a first felony offender. He has an adjusted good time date of March 24th of 2024 and a full-time date of December 24th of 2024. He is currently serving a 3-year sentence on the charge of battery of a dating partner. Is that information accurate, Mr. Roberts?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Roberts, your case has been assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise. She will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions she might have?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, ma'am. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How long you been in jail?
I've been incarcerated for 19 months, ma'am.
19 months on this, what you got, a 3-year sentence. What
Yes,
happened in Morehouse Parish that you got out of transitional work? What happened?
I had a situation with the staff. They said I wasn't performing the cavity search correctly.
Okay.
And when I voiced, they tried to give me a cavity search by hand. And when I voiced my rejection, they became heated. They became a little heated, and it went from there.
Did you get a write-up?
No, ma'am.
They didn't write you up. They just kicked you out of transitional work.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but on the records I have, they showed it was disciplinary on 3/27/23. So, okay. Sometimes that happens. What kind of programs have you had? Have you taken?
When I was in Morehouse Parish, ma'am, I was taking the high set program.
Okay,
That was the only class I was in.
okay. What about anger management? Anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Do you think you need it?
Yes, ma'am.
What's wrong with you?
Sometimes, ma'am, I let my emotions override myself and things get a little out of control. So that's what I think I need help with, learning how to control my impulses.
Mm-hmm. Well said, well said. That's it. And even if you don't get a class, because you do have your good time date, March of 2024, and if you don't get a class, I'm glad to hear you say you know what you need. And if you don't get a class, you can start working on it. Inch by inch, you can start working on it. But for me, because you got kicked out of that work release and you really haven't had any programs and hadn't really served much time, and your history of violence, that's very concerning to me. I just wanted to put that out there for you. That's all I had, Chairman.
Mr. Roberts, let me just ask you a question. What were you doing with a gun in your backpack?
Sir, I didn't, on this charge, I didn't have a gun in my backpack. I didn't have a gun charge on this charge, sir.
You had a previous charge with the gun, is that right?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing with the gun at that time?
In my city, sir, I'm from New Orleans, sir, and the gun in the backpack, as you know, sir, my city is very dangerous, and it was for my protection, not to cause harm to anyone or anything like that, or to do any crime. It was just for my protection.
All right, that's all. Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little confused, Mr. Roberts, when you said you didn't have a gun on this charge. The charge that you're in for is battery of a dating partner. And the allegation of that charge is that you got a gun from your book bag, pointed it at her nose, and then struck her nose with the gun. She fell to the ground, and then you struck her again on the back of the head with a gun while she was on the ground. So you did have a gun in the backpack.
Ma'am, the details of the charge of the incident that happened, everything is not accurate, ma'am.
Well, sir, you're in jail because those were the allegations. And you either pled guilty to them or you went to trial and you were found guilty of them. Also, there was an abrasion on her nose and, you know, she did have, something on her head, but it didn't require any stitches or anything, so, you know, she said she was coming out of the shower, you walked in there was some, you know, reason that you were upset, got a gun from your book bag, pointed at her nose and struck her nose with the gun and she fell to the ground. Those are the allegations of the domestic, battery of a dating partner that you're serving time for.
Yes, ma'am.
Why would you hit her with a gun? Or hit her with anything?
And like I said, as I said, ma'am, I have a past of mental illness, and me not knowing how to control my impulses, and I let the heat of the moment get the best of me, and I reacted in a bad manner.
What's your mental health diagnosis?
I have ODD, bipolar depression, and that's it, ma'am.
Well, you know, there's a treatment and medication for those conditions. And other people shouldn't have to suffer because you aren't dealing with your issues.
Yes, ma'am.
People have to live in the world with you and they can't, you know, have to constantly be afraid that you can't control your impulse.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from your supporters. Miss Andrea Roberts.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, if you give us your full name and tell us what you'd like us to know about your son.
My name is Andrea Roberts. I'm the mother of Samaya Roberts. I just want you to know that he is a very good child. He's the baby of 6 children. Yes, his behaviors have been concerning and hard to deal with as a parent over the years. But before he was arrested on this charge, he was doing well. He was surrounded around good working people and he was thriving. He was outside of the city of New Orleans. He was employed. He was doing well. They were doing for him what I couldn't do for him as a mother in this city, was give him strong boundaries and direction and encouraged him. I tried the best I could, but being a mother of 6, a single mother of 6, it's a mother baby. I struggled with maintaining, with finding consistent help here has always been an issue. I did my part as a parent, bringing him through every program I could think of, finding on my own, through the school, through social service agencies. I did my part as a mother. I never tried to cover up the issues with him. I always tried to get the help that he needed. But like I said, it was inconsistent and it wasn't of good substance. But I'm encouraged that he does have a support system outside of this city. And before he went to jail, he was doing well. He's a very intelligent and honest young man and very hardworking. And I'm not trying to negate the victims' harm because I've also been abused and I have 7 scars to prove it. I can't see out of one eye. So I would never, ever negate her pain and suffering. But I feel like as long as he's not in New Orleans, he'll do better. And I know my jail is not a place for nobody. And I know the jail that he's in is horrible. And I feel like it's making his mental health worse.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Let me ask you a question. Was he on medication before this incident? Has he ever been on any kind of medication for his bipolar and his ODD?
It's been years since he's been on medication. I think when this incident happened, we were trying to start the process again to get him services, but he ended up getting in trouble.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your comments.
Okay,
Sure.
where outside of New Orleans was he where he was thriving?
He was in Sorrento, Louisiana with 2 people who were employing him, and one of them was housing him.
And but this happened in New Orleans, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How did he happen to be in New Orleans?
Ma'am.
How did he happen to be in New Orleans the day of this incident?
Oh, he came to the city to go visit a friend's gravesite on a friend's anniversary. And they got stopped by the police or whatever.
So he wasn't arrested the same day the incident happened? Is that
No,
correct?
no, ma'am. He wasn't here when the police officers arrived. He wasn't on scene.
So the incident happened in July of 2021. That was the date of the incident on South Roman Street. When did he actually get arrested on the warrant? December 20.
Christmas Day the same year.
Okay, yeah. So between July and December, he'd been in Sorrento
To my belief, yes.
and he was doing well in Sorrento.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Roberts. Now we'll hear from Ms. Letitia Polar.
Yes. I am Letitia Polar. I am the owner of seal-type vaults and monuments in Gonzales, Louisiana, Ascension Parish. I met Samad through him working with LeBlanc Burial Vault Services. LeBlanc and my business work hand in hand in providing services out here. We were doing a funeral together and Samad, I was observing Samad and I found his mannerism and his work ethic was unbelievable. I have a 22-year-old, and when I tell you, I have to constantly tell him to say, yes, ma'am, no, sir, yes, sir, and all of this. And when Samad approached me and that's how he was talking to me, and I'm thinking to myself, how can I get mine to do that? And then, you know, this was the first time. Time after that, he continued. And I just continued to observe his work. And I said, you know what? I told Mr. LeBlanc, when he's not working for you, he can work with me. And when he comes over to my shop and work and we do funerals together, I said, I will always hold a position for him. When he was out here, he was monitored closely. Actually, he have residence with Mr. LeBlanc and his son. When he is released, That's where he will be staying. He will be working for the both of us. Our business is very prosperous, and we can support him and guide him through being released. Now, I heard to talk about the anger management, whatever. I do have resources, whereas if that is what he needs, we can make sure he gets it. I am in support of him being released. I would do whatever I can to help him. My husband passed in 2019, and he was a well-dressed man, and he left a lot of clothes. I packed those clothes and put them in boxes for Samad, because I know Samad, when he gets out, I don't know what he have, but I'm going to make sure that he have the things that he need. I retired from the plant, Hexion Chemical, March 2nd, and I am working full-time in my business. So I will make sure that Samad do the things that he's supposed to be doing.
Ms. Polar, what was the time frame that he was working for Mr. LeBlanc and you ran into him? Would that have been, do you recall?
I don't recall the exact date that he started working for Mr. LeBlanc. He worked with Mr. LeBlanc first. And we just happened to have a funeral at the same cemetery one day. And I was short on help because my guys were elsewhere. So I was out there doing a funeral myself, and I needed some help. When they finished Mr. LeBlanc set up, he didn't have no problem coming over there to help me. He just, oh ma'am, you don't have to do anything. We got this. And he just took over.
I was just trying to see if it would have been in that time frame after he is alleged to have committed this offense in the time he was arrested.
I can't, honestly, I can't give you that time frame.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Roberts, is there anything you'd
Yes,
like
sir.
to say to the board before the board votes?
Yes, sir. This incident that occurred, sir, I know it's a serious situation, and like I said, I don't want to blame it on my mental illness because I shouldn't put my hands on a female anyway. As you can see, I grew up around women. I have a lot of respect for women, and sometimes it's just hard to control myself, sir. But I promise you, this would not be an ongoing thing.
Thank you. Panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay.
But I believe you, Mr. Roberts. I believe you're not gonna do this again. But for me, had you been still at the work release when you came before us? Because you went ahead on and followed the rules, although you don't like them, they were uncomfortable. There was a reason for them doing, having to do what they had to do. But they run the institution. For me, not just for me. My vote is to deny. You haven't served enough time, got removed from work release, and no programs, and insufficient time served on that. And I agree that you should be moved to DOC facility so you can get some support that you need. Best wishes to you, sir. I'm just one vote.
Thank you, Ms. Weiss. Ms. Jackson.
All right, Mr. Roberts, because of the comments of your mother and your prospective employer, I'm willing to take a chance on you. My vote would be to grant with the condition that you enroll in and complete a 26-week domestic violence prevention program, that you have no contact with the victim in this case, and you take all prescribed medications.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Jackson, is that 26-week program to be performed in prison? Or upon release. So it's, the condition of his release would be that he have to do the 26th day. In other words, your vote is to grant his parole. When he gets out, he has to do the 26 week program. Okay.
And no contact with victim to take off his partner.
Where will you be living, Mr. Roberts? With Mr. LeBlanc?
Yes, sir, in Sorrento, Louisiana.
All right, this is a very difficult case, Mr. Roberts. Primarily because we want to make sure you don't do this again.
I understand.
I agree with both of my colleagues that you're on the right track. It bothers me that you got kicked out of the work release program because of your temper. You seem to recognize that. The remarks by your mother and the remarks by Ms. Polar seem to suggest that you really are a hard worker and a good young man who's got some issues. My vote would be to likewise grant conditionally to grant your parole with the conditions that you enroll in and complete a 26 week DBOP program, no contact with the victim at all, and that you get a mental health evaluation and follow all prescribed medication. Now, this is two out of three. This is act of violence. So is this we need all three?
No, he hadn't taken anything. No program.
He hadn't taken any programs.
That's what I didn't see. Where is he?
He's at Madison. I know he's at Reward.
Yeah, Max.
He didn't act.
That was got Reward here, but Madison, I guess, is what. We're trying to figure out what the vote means. Sometimes it's a unanimous vote. Your act is a crime of violence. You haven't completed some of the necessary programs that require a non-unanimous vote. So we're trying to look that up right now. Is Lieutenant Jones still there?
Yes, sir, I'm right here.
Lieutenant, do y'all have any programs there at, you're at Madison, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do y'all have any programs there, any sort of domestic violence or anger management programs there?
Not yet, as I know of, they have not, but I have a lady that's here. I have to go get her and let her tell you what programs they have.
Okay.
Okay.
Just hold on a minute, let me go get them.
Mr. Roberts, your vote needed to be unanimous and it was not. You had 2 votes to grant and 1 vote to deny. You'll be getting out next year. I would encourage you to try to take anger management programs or something. Try to get your GED if you can. Try to take some programs that will speed up your release date.
So my parole is denied, sir.
Yes, sir. Good luck to you.
I needed all 3 votes to be granted.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
But if they got some classes, take them and you'll be out in no
If
time.
they have some classes, take those classes.
You'll be out in no time.
Can I ask to get recommended to get moved from the jail?
I make that recommendation in my report. I agree. I'm making that recommendation to get moved to where you can get some mental health care. So when I said
And some
the program, yes, we do recommend that. We agree with that.
We will do that.
But you know what to do. Control yourself. You know what to do.
Good luck to you, Mr. Roberts.
Can I ask one last question?
Yes, sir.
Breathe acid.
I want to know if I can have another parole date.
You can reapply. We don't control that. You can reapply once you've taken some classes, but until you do a little more positive things, your vote is likely to be the same.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you, Mr. Roberts.
Yes, thank you.
We're going to close out at Madison. The time is 9:04. Thank you, Lieutenant Jones.
You're so welcome. I want to go ahead and tell y'all that they don't have any of those classes here for him, because I just spoke to the lady. So if y'all decide y'all want to transfer him somewhere else, that he can better get those classes.
Good.
Yeah.
We will try to accomplish that for
Yes,
him.
ma'am. Get him transferred where he can get some classes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank y'all, and y'all have a blessed day.
Yeah.
Likewise, likewise.